Welcome to Veteran State of Mind. I'm your host, Geraint Jones. Welcome back. Welcome for the first time. Welcome wherever you've come from. Whatever the colour of your skin, whatever your sexual fetish is. Welcome, everybody. Veteran State of Mind. Fucking love you guys. We're roaring into 2020. Continuing to grow. You guys are bringing your friends along. And, yeah, it's just a fucking great ride. Happy to be here. Happy to be here. Happy to be speaking to you fine, outstanding people. Thank you so much for leaving reviews. I said that I was going to give away some free swag to a review that I read out on the podcast. And to kick it off, I thought, you know what? I don't want to punish the people who left earlier reviews, because they weren't even in it for the swag. They weren't. They're not like you other lads and lasses out there who are only in it for the swag. That's why you leave reviews. I know what you like. These are the selfless lot. These went and left reviews back when there was nothing on the line except just making me feel good. So thank you guys. And thank you to ... G. Oh, hang on, I got it. ... G apostrophe day. So good day. ... So it's kind of like pronounced like this, I suppose. G'day, because he was leading in with the policy. Right, g'day. He says, absolutely superb podcast. I'm not military and never will be. Well, we'll see about that when the Third World War kicks off, mate. But I'm not military and never will be. But the topics Geraint and his guests touch on have a direct reflection on our own civilian lives. Yeah, fucking right they do, mate. That's the thing that people forget sometimes. Military or civilian, still a human being, not a human doing. Who said that? The great philosopher, Scatman. Yeah, Scatman knew that. So does Geraint Jones. So do our guests. So do you. G'day. You're dead on, mate. Look, we all go through fucking shit in life. We all go through great times in life. And what we've got inside of our fucking skulls is, it's the same wetware, no matter whether or not you're in the military or not. So we have some different conditioning. Maybe we have some different thoughts and opinions. But when it comes down to it, we're all fucking human beings. So you're dead right on that one, mate. Anyway, couple this with banter and chat that is funny, uplifting, and hugely entertaining. It is an awesome listen. Thank you, mate. That means a lot to me. I will definitely sleep better at night knowing that that is your opinion. And good luck in the Third World War. Right, what we got going on today? Fucking hell. We have got the legend that is Pinkmist back on the show. When he came in the other day, we had too much shit to just get into one podcast. So we split it down into two. Here's part two. For those of you who don't know Alex, one of my best mates and a comrade of mine, a brother in arms. The reason that I wrote a book called Brothers in Arms was because there's a couple of reasons. Well, the reason it's called Brothers in Arms is because my editor Ingrid came up with the awesome title for it. So thank you, Ingrid. But also, it does sum up the book perfectly. Anyone that's listening that's been on tour, you develop a bond with your mates when you're at war that is a bond like no other. Doesn't mean it's better or worse than any other relationship you have with other groups of friends, but it's just different. I'm very lucky that, my mates, I get to see them, still get to see them. And it's always the highlight, one of the highlights of the year. So really cool to have Alex up here. Really cool to have Alex up here. And I just see, you know what happens, right? If you ever hear me get this, I start to get tongue-tied, it's because I've stopped being in the present moment and my mind's just drifted back off to back in the day, behind the Jimpy, behind the General. That's where I've gone. My mind has drifted back off to Afghanistan. All nostalgic. That's why I did this intro, recording this intro now. I'll go off now I'll be carried off on a wave of nostalgia. But anyway, come on, guys, get back on fucking track. Right, here he is, my friend, Alex Jones.
Life's hard, I know that. Still wouldn't change shit. I wouldn't go back, I wouldn't go back. Feelings I hold back. Memories fade, they go fast, they go fast. Good times that come and go. Survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step. I guess, I suppose. Good times that come and go. Survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step. I guess, I suppose.
Yo, welcome back to Veteran State of Mind. I'm your host, Geraint Jones. With me is my mate Alex, who served with me in Afghanistan. You may know him as Pinkmist. Got shot in the neck. had pretty much bad luck with a lot of stuff, or good luck. Right, well, we were just talking about, so I was just setting up the camera for this. And what did you say? What did you say? It's like, oh, that show Porn Sofa or something.
Private sofa.
Private sofa. It ain't private sofa, mate. It's the casting couch.
Casting couch, that's the one.
The casting couch. We don't have a casting couch for Veteran State of Mind. Our guests are such sluts. They don't even have to put them through them. I've said this a lot, though, and if anyone's listening and you are a high-level executive in the movie world, I've got some movies that I want to get made, and I want to make it clear right now that I am willing to sleep with absolutely anyone in order to get that made. I will not be coming out and talking to the papers. You can put anything up me that you want. If you are willing, to make my movie, you can pour hot coffee down my gaping butthole. Or anything else. Well, that was just on my mind because
Gaping.
That's what we were doing in gaping. Gaping, mate, there's some weird kind of horns in there. The old gape. The gaping stuff. I'm a big advocate. I know we got young lads listening to this, young people listening. So I probably shouldn't have started off the podcast talking about this. But while we're on the subject, I'm just going to say this before we move on. Try and limit how much porn you watch. It's not good for you. And I'm not saying that because it'll make you go blind. But it does fuck up. Like, what you got to understand, right, about your brain is it's a big programmable mush, right? And you can program it to be good, to do good stuff, or you can program it to do bad stuff. And that's the same with PTSD, and it's the same with sex and stuff like that. If you program it with a bunch of fucking porn and stuff, like it's just having normal sex won't be normal for you because you've been watching porn. You'll be a young lad going on a first date, and then you'll be surprised that this chick's not happy because you try to put a table leg inside her.
Okay, now.
It's fucking true. I'm telling the people what they need to hear. That's why they come to Veteran State of Mind. The kid, come here for advice from Uncle Gez. And Uncle Gez is telling you, step away from the fucking porn. Or otherwise, you're going to end up like me and fucking Hot Six here. And, just
disappointed.
Not just disappointed, but just like... just twisted to the point that you look like a fucking strand of spaghetti. It's just trust me on this one. Step away from the porn. Let's go back to the days of, you know what? I always think, isn't it nice where like your grandparents would be like, oh yeah, we used to go courting and stuff. They used the word courting. I was like, oh, I fucking fisted someone. What's happened to the world?
This is Veteran State of Mind, by the way, as well. Let's remind people of that.
To be fair, this isn't an unrelated porn rant. This is like, at the end of the day, the depravity of the military is a direct correlation. Basically, what you're seeing on Pornhub or whatever is probably 1 year behind what's going on in the block, the trendsetters.
Yeah, and it ties into the military as well, I suppose. What you see on TV and what you see on Call of Duty is not necessarily what goes on in the fucking army. It's not like that at all.
Very true.
Not when you're being asked to paint fucking stones because Prince Charles is turning up.
Imagine if Call of Duty was like you unlock the next level of Call of Duty and you get a bigger paintbrush to paint the grass green.
Yeah.
What's some of the most stupid fucking jobs you were given in the military?
That's one of them. Painting curbstones, painting stones white.
Painting stones white.
I was never lucky enough to paint grass, but I know it happened.
Brushing sand.
Brushing sand.
That was a good one. Brushing sand.
Mopping rain.
Fucking brilliant, mate. Like, there's a lot of just daft job. Like, one of the ones that always got me was like, and this is universal for different, like, Americans say there's the same thing. The whole don't walk on the grass thing.
Mm.
But it's not like, because the thing is, at home right now, you know, I'm quite proud of the garden at home. And I enjoy cutting the grass in the summer. But right now, because it's raining a lot, I'm keeping off the grass because otherwise you churn it up. It's common sense.
Yeah.
But you know what? If I saw someone walking on the grass, I wouldn't shout and scream at them and call them a cunt and take the weekend's fucking leave off them.
It's like, they go on about, teaching you as a soldier to look after yourself, to administrate yourself, to keep yourself warm when you're cold. But you can't put your fucking hands in your pocket if your hands are cold.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just got to warn people, by the way, just had a swig of this coffee. This is power. So there's a 100% chance that this podcast is going to go. I mean, I'm going to say it's going to go off the rails. I started talking about gate porn. So fuck knows where we're ending up. But I'm just telling you, fucking strap in now. Strap in, strap on, you fucking dirty peggers. There's something for you to stick in your porn episode. Oh, fuck me. We should just start this one again. But we're not going to. One take. That's how we do it. Yeah. Hands in the pockets. Again. Understandable if you're outside Buckingham Palace, you're doing a parade, but that's not when you do it. You're standing around by the stores, having a bind, having a smoke.
Freezing.
It's freezing. Why wouldn't you put your hands in your pockets? Your hands are your instruments. You can't do anything without your hands. That's when it makes no sense. Like the walking on the grass, I will play devil's advocate on this one. You know, maybe it's like so they instill into you. Don't go walking into areas you're not supposed to because it could be a minefield or something. You know, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Personally, I think it's just because they get off on shouting at people. You know, this like, yeah, don't walk on the grass, but then you go and tear up Salisbury Plain with a tracksuit warrior. I fucking love, mate. I love her. Like, as I'm getting older, I'm enjoying finding hypocrisies in the world, and like really just enjoying. So, for instance, one of the ones, like we mentioned politics on the last one, let's mention it again, why the fuck not? The hypocrisy of, say, people in government to tell people that they have to treat people better and respect people, and then you watch a debate in the parliament and they're just shouting at each other and slagging each other off. That's a juicy hypocrisy. What are some of your favourite hypocrisies, mate?
I don't even know. I don't even know where to start on it.
I think I just got a lot in general. One of my favourite hypocrisies, or we mentioned this before, is the hypocrisy of the veteran community. A small portion of the veteran community who love calling people snowflakes and civvies pussies and stuff like that. But then as soon as you say something about them, they lose their shit.
Into the biggest snowflake.
That is one of my fucking favourite hypocrisies. Right, talking of snowflakes, since you were last on, well, not since you were last on, but since you were last on, there was the whole snowflake campaign, the recruiting campaign. I've talked about it before on here. I'd be interested in your thoughts, but only if they align with mine. Otherwise, I'm not interested in them.
I don't know. Like, I think the army now has gone so. We talk about PC and stuff like that, but I think the army is so desperate at the moment to get numbers because they've had, you know, there's been such bad press about the military, and rightly so, you know. That obviously there's been a massive slump in people joining up, and then they're going through all these processes now to try and cater themselves to what I believe is a small minority. Like, yeah, there's snowflakes out there, this, that, and the other. Of course there are. I mean, people are a lot softer these days. People want more stuff sort of handed to them on a plate. But let's be realistic about it. If you go around targeting a campaign and calling people snowflakes, then what do they expect? What do they expect is going to come from it?
I just think as well, mate, that it just puts off people that want challenge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, you get an extra 20 people coming through the door who are mincers. And I don't mean mincers as in, I'm not using a gay slur there. I'm using it as just sort of like a mincer is just somebody that's basically a snowflake.
Yeah.
And they come, you know, they come through the door, but you might have lost 20, because what I always think about the army was struggling for recruiting, mate. You know why it makes no sense? This weekend now, around the UK, thousands of people are paying money. Like they always used to say, civvies would pay thousands for this, and you always used to think they were talking shit. It's actually true.
Yeah.
So around the country this weekend, there will be thousands of civvies paying to do stuff like Tough Mudders, Spartan runs, CrossFit competitions, fell running, you know, all that kind of stuff. There will be people paying to do those competitions because they want physical and mental challenge. Now, you ask yourself, why are they not in the army? And the answer to me is very simple. They don't want to get treated like a cunt.
Yeah.
That is the only reason I can think of. The pay, like, okay, some of them might be earning a really good amount of money. But let's say the army raised the money that they were willing to pay people. But in return, they raised the standards of what had to come in. So let's say that a private was on, let's say a private goes up to 40 grand, right? Before that, you get someone who is a higher, quite, not always the case, but quite often ability is matched with pay. That's quite often how things go. So, you get somebody coming in, let's say you get a smaller army, you get people who are more well-paid, but you get a higher standard of people. But the main thing is the treatment of people. If you treat people like adults, and if people know they're going to be treated like adults, and they know that they're going to be, their opinions are going to be taken into account, that they're going to, like, their expertise is going to be sought after, that they can advance in career, not just based on, it isn't just on time served now, but let's be honest, everyone that's been in a battalion listening to this knows that you've had RSMs who there was the platoon sergeants at the time who would be much better RSMs, but just because of the way that it works, that's not how it works. Like, if you go and fucking work for fucking Facebook or Google now, they're not going to go, oh mate, you are a genius at this, and you're probably one of the best NCOs we've ever seen in 20 years. However, we're going to hold you back for another 10 years because it's his turn. No, They're going to go, you're the best guy for the fucking job. Boom, in you go. If there was more of that, I reckon, like, you wouldn't be struggling for numbers. No. Like, they shouldn't be struggling. It shouldn't be hard to find in a country of like nearly 70 million people. Shouldn't be hard to find. What is it, 80,000? It's not much. You know what I mean? Like, across all age groups and stuff.
The army now, they target, they it's like they don't want the best people. They just want fucking anybody, don't they? And, if you aim a campaign at just trying to get anybody through the door, then you're going to get, it's like with our slow flake campaign, for example. It's like they're saying it's all right if you fucking you're not willing to fucking work any harder. It's all right, come in the army. Yeah, you fit in fucking lovely here. Yeah. And if that's what you're aiming people, if that's what you're aiming a campaign at, then that's what you're going to get through the door. And then you're saying about how you're treated in the army and stuff like that. The army is like fucking Never Neverland, because people never grow up in the army because you don't get treated in the army as an adult. You get treated as a child, and then because you get treated as a child every day, then that's how you act.
Well, that's why so many people leave as well, because I think you look at when a lot of people leave, it's in their mid-20s when they really kind of become they've got their own opinions, they're becoming an adult, and they want to be treated like one. And that's why usually there's one or two things will happen. People will try to go for SF, or they'll leave. And you see there's so many, so many good blokes leave because they just, all they want, literally, they're happy with the pay. They're happy with the job. The only thing that changes it for them is the way that they're talked to.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And there is an argument that you do have to kind of, in a way, treat young people in a certain way, because they will fuck you over. They will turn up with the wrong kit and all that. There does need to be that. So one of the ideas I've had, mate, I don't know if you think about this, is I don't see why there can't be a couple of like battalions where the average age is higher.
Yeah.
I don't see why that wouldn't work. I don't see why your junior Tom's 25 years old.
Yeah.
I don't see why that wouldn't work. And because let's be honest, I to be fair, I saw this with the TA and stuff. People were, they weren't used. So what I saw in the TA was generally a less of a standard of physical fitness, but people were more proactive because a lot of them had, like, they were older and had more life experience. People would be proactive about getting their kit together, and they wouldn't deliberately jack on you and stuff either. They might make mistakes, but they weren't deliberately jacking just because they couldn't be fucking asked.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they didn't have to be there that weekend, And I saw that, and that just made me think that, you know what, like, you could have a battalion where the age was old and you could all get treated like adults. Like, it shouldn't just be SF where you get treated like adults. Like, that makes no fucking, there's no reason to think that should be the way. But I just don't think they care, mate. I just don't think they care. I think, as far as they're concerned, it's a stat sheet, and they're just trying to get. They're not actually looking at. I've talked about this before. I'll keep talking about it because I was fucking really impressed with the book, the General Mattis' book, the Call Sign Chaos book, where he took over recruiting. He took the best people out of each unit and sent them to be the recruiters and told them, you only bring me the best. He didn't even care if they just brought him one Marine every year, that recruiter. He said, but they need to be high caliber individuals.
Yeah.
And that was his thing for recruiting. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
If you're working for a recruitment company, headhunting down in London, you don't go to places where, like you're going into the best colleges and stuff in the country. giving people offers, competing against other, and saying like we want the best people. But the army's not like that. The army's like, right, can't find anything else to do. Come here.
Yeah. And saying that on the recruiting as well, you look at the recruiters and people who get sent off to the recruiting teams and stuff like that. They're generally not the best soldiers in battalion. They're sort of the people who they've got issues or they've got injuries or they're just
like
fucking
a domestic case or something like
or they're
that.
shit at everything else or they've had enough. And you send people who are already in that frame of mind to recruit people, then the people who are going to see them, they're just going to think to themselves, well, fucking hell, look at him, he's fucking fat as whatever, or he's
When you were like a kid and you wanted to join the army, talk us through like what your state of mind was like when you wanted to be like when you wanted to join the army. What was your state of mind like? And then tell me if that's something that if it was still appeal to you today. If you were that 16-year-old now, would you still want to be? Would it still appeal to you?
It would then, yeah, because I mean, I'd always wanted to join the army from when I was a young kid, and the majority of that, like I said, come from films and stuff, and you never see the reality of it in films. You see, soldiers as they fucking should be, like they're highly motivated individuals, and when you sort of get into the army, then the reality of it hits you that the majority of soldiers in the army, they couldn't give a shit. Most of them don't want to be there. They're just there to take a wage. And I'm not saying that's everybody, but
it's at least 50%.
Yeah,
what I've seen.
Yeah, but then you think, oh, what do you want to do when you go in the army? Well, I want to go to the infantry because that's where the fucking highest caliber. You want to go. You want to serve with the best people. You want to fight with the best people. So I want to go to the infantry because that's where the best people go. But then when you get to the infantry, it's like, fuck me. You fucking, you fucking turn up. You fucking, I don't know. You the officer you've got in front of you is fucking overweight. Just somebody who's gone through Sandhurst, for example, and add that sort of class difference. And I don't know, it's the sort of reality of it comes and you just think to yourself, do you know what, this really isn't what was fucking sold to me, the idea that was sold to me. So knowing what I know now about the army, if I could go back and, look at it when I was 16, knowing what I know now, I'd probably think, yeah, do you know what, it's probably fucking not for me. Like,
yeah. What if you were 16 now and you didn't know that stuff and you saw the snow, the way that the army's recruiting now, you don't have the benefit of hindsight. Would it still... because you're saying that you wanted to do something because you thought, oh, it's going to be like the World War II movies. If you saw these campaigns now, would it still attract you, or would you be like, ah, fuck that, it's not for me?
No, I doubt it. It was not going to attract me because they're basically saying like, oh, snowflakes, we want you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to be associated with that.
Yeah, I don't want to be associated with that. I don't want to go in the army just because I'm seen as a fucking snowflake or because, it's seen as somewhere somebody can go if they've got no other, ambition in life or...
Yeah.
Because that's basically what they're saying.
That's kind of how I felt about it, yeah.
Yeah, they're aiming this campaign, these adverts, these posters, this, that and the other, basically saying to people like, oh yeah, you're a snowflake, you've got no ambition in life, you're not going to go anywhere else, so why not come and join the army? You can do all that and be like that in the fucking army. That's the way I look at it anyway.
I think it would put me off as well. I think if I was a kid now, I would want to join. I think I'd probably end up wanting to be a Marine.
Yeah.
I think that the way the army should be doing these adverts is they should be going the opposite way and saying, are you fed up of snowflakes? Are you fed up with this? Yeah. Well, good news. You don't have to deal with it. You can come to the army. You can have challenge every day. We'll test you. We'll build you. We'll build you the best physique that you could imagine. You'll be a fucking machine. You'll learn how to do this. You'll travel to these countries. You'll get excitement. You'll get adrenaline. And you're going to have to work your fucking ass off, but you're going to do it with a team of people who are also going to work your ass off, and you're going to have fucking best mates for life. Like, that's how it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not putting that out, because the thing is, mate, right, these days, right, it's not like it was back in the day where, like, you had your job and you did your job and that was pretty much your life. Now, if you want to, you could work, right? You could work in a post office And on your weekends, you could go skydiving and do Tough Mudders. You can have all of that, all the skydiving and your Tough Mudders and fucking fell running and all that kind of stuff. You can have that, even if you just like you don't have to be rich to go skydiving.
Yeah.
As long as if that's your hobby, you could do that on a weekly basis on a normal salary, and you can do all these things. You could even become an outdoor adventure instructor. You don't need the army for these things anymore. You used to have to. If you wanted to do adventure training and stuff like that before, if you wanted to go rappelling and all that stuff, there's even courses now. Like like we had Dave on. Dave runs Breakpoint with Ollie Oldson's company. They'll put you through these courses. You don't need the army anymore for this stuff. Yeah. So why would you?
But they just need to be more fucking realistic, because that's what appeals to it. That's what appeals to people for me, for example, it was the challenge of it, to test yourself, be fucking honest, but don't try and fluff it up. This is what's going to happen. You could potentially be sent to, I don't know, not necessarily a war zone, but you could be sent to some other shitty part in the world that's struggling, and you could be exposed to this. You could be put in these situations where you're going to have to make seriously fucking, difficult decisions, whether that's, I don't know, providing, I don't know, support to a third world country, or whether it's being in a war zone, or whether it's, doing whatever. So that's what people want to do. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put myself in that situation and test myself and think, fuck, could I actually do that? Could I go into a war zone? Could I potentially be, shot at? Could I go and provide support to, like I said, a third world country? Could I be able to cope with that physically, mentally? Because that's the challenge in it.
Do you know make some good fucking adverts? The American military.
Yeah, I've seen them. Yeah,
mate. I've watched some of their fucking adverts. There's one I saw one for the 82nd Airborne, which was amazing, and there's some Marine Corps ones I've seen that are good. And you watch those, and it's like fucking smash. It's kicking indoors. It's jumping out of planes. It's flashbangs going off. It's guys on deployment. And you're like, fucking right. Let's get out there and kill everyone.
It's like that they made one before, the British Army made one, and it was the best recruitment video they've ever made, where they start off where they go in through a village, and then it kicks off and contact, and they throw the grenade, and I'm like, that's how a fucking recruitment admin should be. And I remember when Iraq, when they invaded Iraq the second time round, that was when I joined the army, and I remember looking at it and thinking, fuck, I need to be here now. That's where I need to go now. And I remember, who was it? I forget his name. He was Irish Rangers Colonel.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Tim
Collins, is it?
Tim Collins, yeah.
And his speech,
yeah, you just want to go and kill bad guys.
And I'm like, fuck, that's the reality of it. And he was straight up fucking brutally honest about what it was, what was going to happen. It's like what's that film with?
Tell you what, mate, Royal Irish had done some tours.
Yeah, that was a fucking brilliant speech. That itself there is a recruitment advert for me, because that's what people want to do. That's what they want to see. I want to listen to that and think to myself, fuck me, that's what the boys are going into, and the girls, that's what they're going into now. I want to be part of that. I want to have that experience. I want to see if I can push myself to those limits. And it's like what's his name? That film Mel Gibson in the We Were Soldiers. The speech he gives, it was like, yeah, it was on the on the same sort of level as that.
Well, you know what, the army, when I was a kid, the army slogan was "Be the best."
Yeah.
Why would you ever change from that slogan?
Yeah.
Be the best. That, to me, is a fucking absolutely perfect marketing campaign. Yeah. Like, it's simple, and it's saying, right, you want to be the best? Join the army. Yeah. Like, why would you ever have got away from that?
Exactly.
You fucking numpties. I tell you why, because you all fucking think you know better. And you're like, we can do better than this. We'll do this campaign and that campaign. And then I bet you, these companies that they fucking outsource all this fucking money to, right? Because that's what all of these companies, like, I bet you they're all the colonels and that will be directors on the board, because they'll come in to give their expert advice, probably get 50, 60 grand for turning up for 2 or 3 meetings a year. You cunts, we're on to you. Fucking revolution.
Yeah, but they quicken, the army end is quick enough, and these campaigners and the senior army staff, military staff are quick enough to turn around and call people snowflakes. when the reality of it is they are turning into the biggest fucking snowflakes themselves by caving into. I know, the this idea of you can't turn around and say aim a campaign at being the best because somebody may not be the best, or it may demoralise. Fuck
him. Well, fuck him. Do you want that guy next to you when the fucking rounds start going down? You know what? If he doesn't come through the door, I don't give a fuck. I'd rather go to war with fucking 10 blokes that want to be there than 1,000 who are going to start fucking running. I'll tell you what you get if the opposite, mate. ISIS, right? Why were ISIS able to take control of so much of fucking Iraq? Because as soon as they started fighting, the Iraqi army went, fuck this, and they left. That's what happens when you get an army of snowflakes.
Yeah.
Just because the British Army have been a bunch of savages for the last few hundred years doesn't mean that the British Army always will be. Every army in history at some point has fallen, right? And if we keep filling an army with people whose mentality is snowflakes, do you think that those blokes who are snowflakes would have tabbed across the fucking Falklands and then bayoneted people in the fucking face in the fucking freezing cold? Do you think that people would have fucking held the line at Waterloo if they'd have been fucking snowflakes? Why would you think that now all of a sudden someone can be a snowflake and do the hardest job in the world? It's ridiculous, mate. It's an absolute disconnect between reality. Like, the job of the army is to kill people. If you're not all right with somebody saying, oh, well, maybe I'm not the best, well, you're probably not the person to shoot someone in the fucking face.
Let's get away from all this fucking because all the adverts, the army campaigns you see now on TV and stuff, the adverts, they're all about some fucking random guy who, I don't know, who's been fucking bored in school or whatever, and they've gone, I want to do something fucking different, I want to join the army, and then it shows them playing fucking football, or they're going out on a piss in the army. Fuck that. Let's show
them bayoneting someone in the fucking chest.
Let's make them think to themselves, fuck me, I want to do that. Like,
yeah, I tell you what, you're going to have a fucking surprise when you get out to your ward and you're not kicking a football around, you're kicking around someone's head.
But not only that, but you want, like, I joined the army as well because I wanted to fucking do something. I wanted to be part of something. I wanted to feel like I've achieved something. And, you know, that's what people want to see. They want to look at it and think to themselves, do you know what? Oh, fuck me, I want to have a go at that. Like, I don't want to I could go out on the fucking piss, or I could go and play football anywhere. I want to go out and I want to fucking jump out the back of an helicopter.
Yeah, mate, you and me could go and book a 5-a-side pitch right now. And you know what? No one's going to call us a cunt when we step on the grass, when we get out of the car. You know what, mate? This is, right, army, if you're listening, this is what you do for your advert. You have a fucking video where you go from the fucking, you've got images of Waterloo, you've got images of the trenches, you've got images of the Second World War, you've got images of the Falklands, building up all of this, and then say, you could be the next fucking step in this lineage.
Yeah.
You could be, and you can put yourself in the same, I mean, obviously, you and I would never be, we're never going to say that we're in the same category as folks who've been in the trenches. But the fact is, we can say that we are their descendants. And if you want it, you could be a descendant of the men that fought at Waterloo, the men that fought in the Crimea, the men that fought in Somme. You could be their descendant. Or you can fucking mince around and kick a football around your 5-a-side pitch, you fucking... Oh,
but
mate.
Not even that, though. It doesn't even have to be fucking all doom and gloom and war, because the army's...
It does have to be war. It has to be war.
That's not just what the army's about.
Fucking should be.
But let's show some fucking other stuff, like fucking, I don't know, a campaign where they're showing...
Fuck helping people. Let's just help them stop breathing. The army, right. I know recently the army has become like, that does do peacekeeping and stuff. But I think that's kind of part of the problem, mate. It's like the army doesn't know what it is. Up until recently, the army's had one job: kill people.
Yeah.
It's like recently it's been diluted. It's like, oh, now it's peacekeeping. All right, now we need you to go and fight a war. It's like, hang on, what are we? What are we this week? Are we peacekeepers this week, or are we fighting a war this week? It's like, oh, no, sorry, mate. You got the wrong week. We're peacekeepers this week. Now you're going to prison. You were on Card Alpha. What? Like, I thought we were fighting a war. No, that was a week ago. Now we're peacekeepers.
That I agree with that. In like the fucking issue, like with Iraq and Afghanistan, is that it's always the infantry that they'll send out to do anything to peacekeep. If you send people who've gone through pre-deployment training, through all their career, being trained to close with, kill, engage the enemy, to then go out to send them to a war zone and go, oh, actually, you're not here to fight now. You're here to fucking build wells.
Yeah.
Or you're here to, I don't know, fucking...
Well, let me ask you this, mate. When you did your basic training, did you get taught how to bayonet people?
Yeah, you do bayonet training.
Did you get taught how to talk to locals and hand out fucking parcels?
No.
There you go.
That's what I mean.
So that your basic training, you don't even have in your basic training anything to do with peacekeeping. Your basic training is to fucking post grenades and bayonet fucking people in the face. And you know what? It's probably why you want to be there. If someone told me I was going to be a fucking postman handing out boxes to people, I'd say no. Like, look, right now, you and me could go and work for UNICEF or someone like that. We choose not to. There's a lot of amazing people in the world that do work for UNICEF and all these other charities. That's not soldiers. They shouldn't be. Now, don't get me wrong. Should we be in, so let's say there's a country, right, what have I got in front of me here? Coffee Cup. There's a country called Coffee Cup, right? And fucking in Coffee Cup, there's an ethnic cleansing going on, right? Needs to be stopped. You send in the army, and you know what we do? We kill whoever we need to kill to stop that happening. And then we provide security for and the aid agencies to come in. We shouldn't be mixing those lines. We should be there. It's like our job is like, maybe we're just standing around waiting to kill people, you know? But we shouldn't be doing anything other than our job, right? Because I think once you do that, it starts to get so confusing, and that's why people like Brian Wood get dragged through the courts and stuff, because you've blurred the lines then of like, what is the soldier's job? Is it our job to just get shot at and then just accept it and then go, oh, well, we don't want to damage the farmer's field? Or is it to fight? Life is complicated as it is. Let's not make it any more complicated.
I don't know whether we've talked about it before, courageous restraint that came in. Have we discussed that before? Yeah, so I don't know whether it's been discussed or whether we discussed it before about the courageous restraint that came in.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's all right. Courageous restraint was basically the idea being that instead of, so in Afghanistan, I think this came in like 2010, if you got contacted and stuff, if you couldn't say identify where the enemy was, or if you thought it was going to cause damage to civilians and all that kind of stuff, then you take courage and you restrain this. And I think that policy makes sense, but where it doesn't make sense is you can't flatten a country for 4 years and then think that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Like, that has to be from the outset how you go about it. I actually believe that is a good thing. But here's the other thing. I am willing to get shot at and not fire back, etc., if I think that the policy overall in the country is working. When you know that the whole thing is a shit show and that the war's already lost and that most of the locals just want you to fuck off and go home, at that point, you're like, well, this just makes no sense. So I think that the principle is sound, but not like you can't J-dam fucking and drop bombs on a country for 4 years and then go, you know, that's like, right, imagine just, let's make, and this is going to sound like I'm making a joke. I'm not making a joke. This is a gen metaphor, right? Imagine a married couple and the husband beats his wife for 4 years. Every time she says something that pisses him off a little bit, he beats her. And then one day he goes, oh, from now on, when she says something to piss me off, I'm not going to hit her. You're not then going to go, nice one, mate. You're going to be like, yeah, but you beat the fuck out of her for 4 years. She's still going to hate you. A kid's going to hate you.
Yeah.
Like, so the idea that these generals have, they're like, oh, everything will be sound now. No, mate, it doesn't fucking work. And the other thing on top of that made it even worse was that they announced the troop pullout. So the Taliban are like, great, we get to shoot at them. They got to restrain themselves, and they've got to fuck off. We know they're leaving anyway. So it just there's some ideas of theory in there that are good, but it's just the way that, like, it's just, you might as well have applied it in fucking Cloud Cuckoo land.
Yeah, I can remember the brief we had about it because it came in sort of towards the end of our tour, didn't it?
I don't know, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, but I can remember the brief we had about it anyway, and it was sort of like, oh, the Taliban are giving weapons to locals and paying them like $10 to shoot at soldiers. Therefore, if it happens, don't return fire. And that was pretty much the extent of the brief we had on it. So you're trying to tell trained soldiers to go completely against their grain, and when somebody's shooting at them, to just turn around and say, oh, well, I'm not going to return fire because...
Fuck that, that's what I was there for.
Yeah.
Getting the fucking rounds down.
And then you create confusion like that, and it just, it causes all sorts of fucking problems. You look at guys then, and you hear these stories where people are like, do you know what, I was too afraid to return fire just in case I'd get fucking bounced for it.
Well, I didn't fire a shot in Iraq.
Yeah.
I did 2 shows in Iraq, never fired a shot, because we were on Card Alpha, which for the people listening don't know what that is, it's basically extreme. It's almost like the rules of engagement that you'd have in the it is actually.
Yeah.
So if you're on guard in the UK right now, imagine this, right? We're going on operations into Basra City with Challenger main battle tanks, with Apache helicopters, with companies worth of Warrior armored vehicles, and with artillery with pre-des targets, right? We're going into operations with all of that firepower. We are on the same rules of engagement as when you do guard on a camp in the UK. Just take a moment for that to sink in, how mental that is. We are having to use a battle group just to get into the city to do resupply missions. We're having to use a battle group's worth of fucking armor, and we're on the same rules of engagement as if you are guarding a TA center in the UK. Just think how fucking mad that is for 1 second.
Yeah, and it's in Iraq.
Excuse me while I destroy the studio in a fit of rage. But yeah, so I was too scared to fire.
Yeah. And in Iraq, like, you can see you're being dicked, for example. They've got a weapon. You're looking at them, you're being dicked. They've got a weapon. You can turn round and put your hand on your heart and say, they're fucking Jaish Ahmadi or they're fucking Mujahideen or... Yep. So what do? Well, nothing. You can't shoot at them.
I remember hearing over the net that people would be saying, like, the I-Star, so the people are basically I-Star is your drones, your planes, all that stuff in the sky, saying, yeah, we've got trucks of armed guys coming towards you. Nothing they can do about it because they're not firing at us. Like, they're not going on a picnic. They're coming to shoot you. And the other one, and this is where it gets even more bonkers, is so some of the ops that we do, we'd have American Apaches up above us, because the American Apaches were on different rules of engagement, so they could engage. So we're there for the same reason, on the same mission, but Americans can fire and we can't. I mean, the whole thing, mate, is absolutely bonkers. Virtual reality, I want to change this because I'm not lying. I can feel the side of my neck is throbbing. I'm genuinely. I didn't go for a piss just then, mate. I went to fucking shoot up on fucking smack to try and get me through the last 20 minutes. Virtual reality. Hopefully, in our lifetime, it's going to come to the point where it's indistinguishable from real life, and we can just fucking stick a headset on and just go back to Afghan and do the Afghan in Iraq the way that we wanted to. I hope that happens, mate. Like, because there's Call of Duty isn't virtual reality, but if there was if you could stick a headset on and it felt like you were on patrol, and 30 minutes later, and then you hear, fucking hell, that'd be good, wouldn't it? I'd pay a lot of money for that. In fact, I'd be willing to live in a broom cupboard as long as I had that headset.
Just fucking hooked up.
Just hooked. I have a feed, like a drip feed coming into me. I have a drip feed, a fucking bucket underneath me that gets changed every couple of weeks.
It'd be like, what's that film, Celibate to Zero or something like that? Have you seen that?
No.
Where they basically live in like a virtual reality world. So they're the same thing. They're hooked up to like a machine, and they live then
eating babies.
In a virtual reality world.
But there's a reason people go into virtual reality, mate. And that's what, to be honest, drugs is the same thing. Drugs is a virtual reality, really. It's about changing reality. There's a reason people play computer games and stuff, mate. It's to get away from... Mate, reading books, honestly. You read the book is a bit of escapism. Check out Legion by Geraint Jones if you want some fucking escapism. I fucking don't like having you on a podcast, mate. It puts me all right downer.
That's what I do, man. That's what I'm
You
here
do.
for.
You do, don't
I
you?
haven't said... You wind yourself up, mate.
Fuck.
You wind yourself up. I've barely said anything here. You've just gone off on a massive rant.
I have dreams. I have a dream. And this dream happens a lot where I'm back in Afghan or something and we're in a proper contact. And I wake up and I am so fucking gutted that I have woken up. And this is one of the reasons why I'm not afraid of dying. Because, like, I've got a theory that when you're dead, it'll be like you're dreaming and stuff. And if it's not, then fuck it, my theory's not going to matter, is it? But I always just think, like, if that's what, like, we're going to have someone on the podcast at some point to talk about DMT experiences and that kind of thing, right? Which basically feels like when you break down the universe and you see the universe at its smallest parts, and you realise that me and this microphone are basically the same thing, and you and me are the same thing. And look, it hurts your head to think about. We'll talk about it over a joint, right? But point being is like, when I'm in those dreams, it's as real to me as if it was real. And I don't want to come out of it. And so, for instance, if you had a bad dream could be like, there's a reason when you have a nightmare, you can wake up screaming and having sweats and stuff. Your body and brain doesn't know it's any different.
Yeah.
Same when I have a good dream about Iraq, mate. When I'm on that fucking gympie in my dreams, putting the rounds down, and I wake up, mate, I am devastated. And I do everything I can to get back to sleep. Because if I get back to sleep, I'm usually pretty good about getting back into my dreams. I don't know where I was going with that, really, mate. I'm just kind of just a bit down, really. I could do with a cutch.
Just on VR.
Right, see what's on my list of stuff here. See if there's anything to fucking cheer me up. I think we're going straight to the gym after this, by the way. Yeah. Actually, no, we'll have a pint first. Right, okay. Right, what would you rather? Having sex with a goat, or having, so you're giving sex to a goat, or you taking sex from a goat?
I mean, there's not much of a...
This is tied into Afghanistan, so we haven't just gone down the bestiality route. This is something that you have to think about in Afghanistan when you're watching the locals do it.
So you're asking me, would I rather...
Would you rather if you all right? Basically, if you're in Afghanistan and you're one of the locals, because this stuff did happen out there. Ask anyone that's been on tour. This isn't racism. This is true. It happens. So basically, what I'm asking, mate, would you be a top or a bottom with a goat?
Well, I mean, I would. If it come down to it, I mean, I would rather bum a goat than be bummed by a goat. Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because it's weird, isn't it? Because one of them definitely seems less bad than the
other. I don't know. Just the idea of a goat grunting away on me.
I'm just using you.
Yeah.
Because you'd feel less in the hierarchy of life then. You'd feel less than a goat. So I read this book once by a guy that was in a prison in Thailand for like heroin smuggling. And he was saying they had a brothel, right? They had a brothel in the prison. But before you guys out there start getting excited and try and get yourselves locked up in Thailand, let me tell you that the brothel was the girls that worked there were pigs.
Oh, jeez.
Literal pigs.
Well, actual animal
pigs.
Oh,
that was the brothel. So they had them because they had to, one of the things with their prison, they made their own food and stuff. So you could pay to fuck the pig. But here's the weird thing. It cost you less to fuck a man pig than a woman pig. So people were like, instead of just being like, all right, I'm fucking a pig, they'd be like, well, hey, look, I'll fuck a pig, but only a woman pig. I'm not an animal. Like, I think that's dead interesting about, because it's the same as a lot of guys in prison, as like people that rape people in prison, rape other guys. It's like, no, I'm not. It's not like, I've seen interviews with them and they're like, no, I'm not gay. He's a prison bitch. He's a woman. It's like, but he's a guy. He's like, I'm not gay. Like, you've been fucking this guy in the ass. You're gay. But it's interesting how people can make them little subtle distinctions on things.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
All right. Would you rather be a member of Parliament or clean the UK roads, every single one of them, with a broomstick?
I would obviously say member of Parliament.
Would you?
Yeah.
So I think I'd fucking take the roads, mate. I don't think I could handle being in that.
I think, I would. I'd like to think that I could.
You go mad. You kill yourself or someone else within a week of being in there. I don't reckon any normal person could hang out in that. When they're all going, rah, 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 I reckon you just be like, shut the fuck up, but.
Yeah, just like grow up.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, I don't know if anyone could be like, you just lose your shit with them and just be like, look, will you lot like, because it grips my shit. It's amazing me that no one's ever just stood up in there and gone, look, the whole country's fucking looking at you lot. Yeah. Will you just get a fucking grip and start acting like adults? It amazes me that not one person has done that.
Because I think, like, the majority, you look at politicians, I don't know. I don't know any politicians that have just come from a fucking norm. That's the fucking issue. You don't get politicians who just come from a normal background, who's grown up in fucking, I don't know, on a council estate and has got at least some form of fucking grasp on reality of life. They've all, I don't know, these...
Well, they're all kind of cultured through a system, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all privately educated, fucking...
Yeah. But they're groomed for the job as well,
yeah.
isn't it?
And I mean, that's the issue. Like, that's why the country's so fucked all the time, is because the people running the country don't even know what it's like to live in the fucking country, in the real world, like...
It is a bit mad.
They go on about the fucking NHS and stuff like that. How many of those do you think fucking use the NHS?
Well,
They probably got all their own fucking private booper healthcare.
The best one, mate, is when you've got fucking... You've had, this happened loads of times where they've had like the education secretaries and stuff like that, and their own kids are privately educated.
I know, it's fucking...
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I had the money, mate, I'd privately educate my kids.
Yeah,
mind you, I'm not having kids because I don't want to spend the money on their education. I want to spend it on me. So I ain't having the fuckers.
But yeah, that's what I mean. It's so, like, I don't fucking get it. Like, I don't get why we as the people just accept the fact that the people running our fucking country are people who have never even lived a day in the country, in the real world. Like,
I know why we accept it, mate.
Why?
Because we're comfortable.
Yeah.
It's like people that are in a bad relationship. That it's like, it's not so bad. The fact is, mate, we still live in one of the best countries in the world. We're not getting macheted to death for being the wrong thing. Like, yeah, do we have terror attacks occasionally? We do, but let's be honest, we live in one of the safest places in the world. In the world, hands down, we live in one of the safest places. There's not, like, do I get some fly tipping around my area that pisses me off? Yeah. But if you've ever been to the Middle East, you'll know what real fucking rubbish looks like. Just streets, just littered, like knee deep everywhere. The smell, just, we have the NHS. Could it be better? Yeah, it could. We still have one. There's a lot of good stuff that goes on in this country. And most people, the fact is, mate, even if you're unemployed, most people have a roof over their head. Most people have food in their bellies. There's not many people in this country. I'm sure there are a few. I'm not trying to demean what they go through or diminish what they go through. But the majority of people in this country don't go to bed hungry.
No, do they? And then, on that note, right, you keep hearing all the time, poverty is on the rise in this country. It's poverty in the UK is at the worst level. There's nobody living in fucking poverty in the UK. They don't know what fucking poverty is.
I was going to say, it depends on your definition of poverty, doesn't it? Like, are there people who could, like, I'd like to see them have better lives? Absolutely there are. But when you've been to a third world country, that is your benchmark for poverty, innit? And here's the thing, right? What blows my mind is there's a lot of people in this country who don't work, who are fat as fuck. That don't add up to me.
No, exactly.
Don't add up. That doesn't add up. It's like, well, clearly they're getting a surplus of calories here.
Yeah.
But it's just in general, mate, I think, but like, people only fucking rise up and make a difference when it's an extreme. As long as people are comfortable, they will put up with pretty much anything. And that, to be fair, mate, a lot of people, a lot of the time, they'll say, how was Saddam Hussein able to keep power? He must have just been torturing everyone. Well, actually not true, because you can't be doing that to everyone. It's because a lot of people in that country at the time would have been comfortable enough to just go, you know what, he's not the best, but we're comfortable. For their standard of comfortable, that was comfortable. And that's what you see around the world, mate. It's like, as long as people are comfortable, they'll cruise. They'll have a complaint. They'll have a bitch. Like you and me right now. I'm not happy with a lot of things that go on in this country. I'm not about to start a fucking terrorist campaign. No. And to be fair, there. I think where would it get to where I'd have to, like, where would it get to the point where, because one of the things I worry about now with this thing about trying to silence people and not let people have an opinion and forcing certain agendas on people. Because one of the things I noticed on Twitter, I don't comment on these things sometimes, but I go on there and I have a look. And after the election, there was a lot of people saying, these people just, they're not educated enough, they're not educated enough. And I think about there's a lot of countries where they've had these re-education centres, aka fucking camps where you get sent and probably fucking shot in the back of the head, or you get basically told, right, now you love the great leader, and you said, yes, I love the great leader, otherwise you get shot in the head. And I'm not saying that's going to happen in the UK or the US or anything, but if you've studied history, and if you study just what's going on in the world right now, you can see where seeds, because the seeds of humanity are the same everywhere, regardless of country, regardless of race or whatever. So when you see people saying, no, you can't say that, that usually ends one way, and that one way only, and that is eventually it's in violence. So I've asked myself, where is my line? Where would I become a violent person in my own country? And I think it's once people are then robbed of the ability to have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom to live their lives in a kind of like, obviously there's some restriction to how we live our lives, but I think we know there's a difference between me having the freedom to walk down the street with me knob out, and me not being able to say, if I want to be a Christian, to be able to be a Christian. And I think that you have to think to yourself, where are those lines? Because otherwise it could be too late once they get crossed. And there's, unfortunately, like in a lot of countries around the world, there are some people who have to make those very hard decisions of, you know, right, I'm now going to put my life, like, because think about it, if we risked our own lives for, say, democratic elections in Afghanistan, well, wouldn't it stand to reason that we'd have to do the same thing at home if it ever came to that? I'm not saying it's anywhere near that point, but I'm saying that, like, these are things that, you know, we're very lucky in this country that we're not having to make those decisions. But in a lot of parts in the world, people do have to make those decisions. Like, look at Hong Kong, man.
Yeah. I think, like, on what you're saying about freedom of speech and people trying to shoot you down, that seems like something that is becoming a lot more common, you know. And like you're saying, those seeds are sort of being planted where anything that somebody disagrees with, it's their automatic response is to shoot them down, or to call them racist, or without going into fucking politics and left and right wing and stuff like that. But it's so much quicker to turn around and just say, well, you must be racist. You think differently to me. You must be racist, or you must be a fascist. And when the reality of it is, by shooting people down, not giving them that opportunity to vent their own opinions, then they're fucking just as fascist as themselves, as what they're trying to.
And this idea that just because you think differently doesn't mean you can get along is really stupid. Like, you know, like you and me, the lads that we're going to go out and have a pint with later, I disagree politically on almost everything that they think, but still my fucking mates. I love them. You know, they're entitled to have a different opinion to me. And but what's worrying is when people try and shut that down, because if you take away people's avenues for talking, and people's ideas and like people's avenues for ideas, once you take that away, there's only like they're not gonna, this idea that they're then just going to go, oh, okay, well, I'll agree with you. No, then people get violent, and that could be one way or the other. It could be like if you know, it's from one side, like, you know, if it's right wing people trying to shut down left wing people, the left wing people will get violent. Or it doesn't even have to be. It could be like, dude, you could be someone who cares about dog rights. And if you keep shutting down that person, one day they're going to lash out and be violent. That's just human nature. If you don't give people an outlet, and I think that like people do. There's a sense, like, there's a couple of things. One is that most people in this country have never been to anywhere that sucks, so they have they don't understand. So, for instance, you know, when we were in Iraq, there was death squads going around to different neighborhoods, drilling people's brains out and stuff.
Laugh party people.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff happening. And we know that happens in the world. Anyone that's been to Bosnia and Kosovo have seen things that I could never want to see in a million years. Fucking hell, that's Europe. But people in this country are very isolated, and they don't think that can happen.
Yeah. Because
they think, oh, it's different here. It's like, look, Bosnia and Kosovo didn't like that. Think, oh, well, there's hundreds of years of history there. There's hundreds of years history in the UK too. These things can happen very quickly. Like, if you, over a 20-year period, it takes like a couple of riots, a couple of people getting murdered, a couple of high-profile murders, a couple of riots, and before you know it, you can have full-blown fucking violence.
Well, look at Ireland for it. There's a perfect example there.
Exactly, mate.
Look what's happened there.
What do you think's going to happen with Ireland?
I don't know.
I reckon Ireland's going to go bad again.
I think, yeah, well, it seems like it's heading that way, doesn't it?
I think this EU thing now, and I hope I'm wrong on this. But I reckon this EU issue is going to is what's going to force it. I reckon it's going to go. I reckon it's going to go violent again.
I reckon this whole EU Brexit stuff is going to be a massive turning point in the future of European relations anyway, because it's not going to stop here. It's not going to stop with stop with the UK. This is something I feel that's going to spread now.
Mm-hmm.
And before I'm not getting into whether we should have stayed in the EU or whether we should come out of it, because the fucking vote is a vote. That's what happens, isn't it?
Exactly.
But I think personally, in the next sort of 10, 15, 20 years, we're going to see a massive decline in European relationships again. And where it heads then, we already know the story of where that goes from fucking previous history.
The one that worries me is NATO. Because I'm thinking, well, what's to stop people breaking up NATO? Like, if they look at that the same way, because if you've got that same attitude of in it for yourself, then it stands to reason that NATO doesn't stand up either. And I think once you got rid of NATO, then you could be in big problems. Because people will say, oh, well, what, Russia aren't going to turn up here, are they? Well, no, they're not. But what they might do is they turn up in Estonia. They take Estonia. Then they come into this country and that country. And then eventually your hand gets forced.
Where does it stop, yeah?
Yeah, and again, people think that, oh, what, it won't happen. Well, you know what? 2 years before the beginning of the Second World War, nobody thought that was going to happen either. And a year before, they didn't. And I talked to people who were around then, even as it was going to happen, they still just didn't. It's not human nature to think, oh, now we're going to have a giant war and 50 million or 60 million people are going to die. We're optimists. Think about every relationship you've ever been in. You always think, oh, things will work out. And so why would you think this the same with a war and that? So, yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know what the economic thing. All I'll say is that my theory on anything in life is the more you have in common with people, the less you have to fight. Yeah. That's just basic fucking common sense to me. Right, bro. Let's wrap this up. Thanks for coming on, mate.
You're welcome, dude.
People out there in the world, find some common ground with people you might not think you have stuff in common with. We're all just people, flesh and blood. I mean, we are granted living in an alien virtual reality, and we are in a computer simulation matrix. But even so, we have that in common. So, instead of looking for reasons to fucking shout at people online, look for some reasons to have common ground with them. I'm guarantee you have it with fucking everybody. And thanks for listening in. Thanks for tuning in. VSOM podcast. If you head over there, sign up for the old newsletter. VSOMstore.com if you want to buy some Ali merch. Got a few books out if you want them. Sugar Man that I wrote with my boy Vincent Vargas if you want some shooting. If you prefer your people to die by getting stabbed, then Legion is the one. But you want to read about some violent death, then I got your back. Don't worry about it. And cheers very much for listening. I think I need a cuddle, Alex. Let's have a cuddle. Yeah, right. Coach. I need a coach, mate. I'm despondent after this. Not despondent, but you know what I mean. It's fucking hard work talking about this stuff sometime, mate. I hope you people appreciate how much me and Alex are holding back our tears right now. Stiff upper lip. Anyway, cheers for coming. Love you, bye.
Yeah. Listen. Shout out Teaser. You told me not to worry, and you wouldn't break my heart. You told me you were sorry, yeah, my whole world fell apart. You said it's not my fault, and yeah, I've never done you wrong. I'm grinding to a halt, now I can see you're moving on. I promised I'd get better, and I told you things would change. You keep me to the gutter, yeah, I'll never be the same. I've got to let you go, now live your life and spread your wings. And yeah, you put on quite a show, and pulled the puppet strings. And are you sure that you don't want me? Remember all the pain, or maybe you should thank me. It's your loss and my gain. I'm leaving now forever, I won't hang my head in shame. But yeah, you've taken me for granted, and you should feel ashamed. You sold a dream to all of us, a dream that we'd all die for, a reason for us all to live and something we could fight for. I might just help a man up to his feet or hold a newborn, but no matter what I do, my hands remembering my rifle, yeah.
Life's hard, I know that, still wouldn't change shit. I wouldn't go back, yeah, I wouldn't go back. Feelings I hold back,
Memories fade, yeah, they go fast, yeah, they go fast. Good times to come and go, survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step, I guess, yeah, I suppose. Good times to come and go, survive the highs and lows. Just take it step by step.